Welcome back to Inside the Heat. Our lunch order is in, and the timing couldn't be more perfect because as we continue our conversation with Chris, we talk about how his family, his foundation, have embraced the South Florida culture, and that, of course, includes the fantastic Spanish flair to the cuisine. Since you came to Miami, you have been so cognizant about embracing the culture, specifically when it comes to speaking Spanish. Thank you for ordering for me. Gracias. Why have you felt the need, the desire to particularly first learn the language?
I was learning Spanish before I came to Miami. And before I met my wife, which half of her family is from Venezuela and speaks no English, I had always been fascinated in learning another language. It initially started out with French because I was in Canada. The year before I got here, I had a tutor and a teacher.
Hola. ¿Cómo están? El Miami Heat está caliente. Estoy muy feliz para estar aquí. Necesitamos todos para ganar un otro campeonato. Gracias.
And it kind of just worked out being here in Miami and being able to use it. Because that's the most difficult thing out of everything is to actually use the stuff you're learning or you'll forget it all.
What's your favorite part of the Spanish culture?
The passion. Everything's so passionate.
It's celebration time.
Fans broke out the pots and pans like only Miami fans know how to.
There is a passion that's deep, but the food is next level. It always is. What's your favorite meal?
I don't have one. I like it all. I like it all. I like the Cuban food. I like the Mexican food. I've always loved food since I was a kid, and to actually experience different cultures, and food has so much to do with it.
Do you like to cook? I've caught you a couple times on...
Yeah, I cook. I cook for my family. I try to do it like once a week. I think the last thing I made was Philly cheesesteaks.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
The Bosh family, you and Adrian have decided that it's just totally out of the question to have children in the off-season. So for the second time, another addition to the family, beautiful Dylan Sky.
5:55 a.m. November 4th. Awesome day. You've had kids. I mean, it's just, you can't describe it.
How are the other two children acclimated?
They love her. They're totally enamored. My son, he just figured out that there was an actual living, breathing human being. Now he just wants to hold her all the time. Hey, baby, baby, baby. And my daughter, she's been talking about having a baby sister for the longest. It's funny, now she's like, I want a baby brother because Jackson's too rough. I told my wife I wanted to have a daughter with her, and can't describe it.
Your life has changed so much here in Miami. You got married, 2 kids, 2010 to 2013. Like you said, your whole life is transformed.
It's in different stages. You can look at it as far as basketball is concerned. I learned truly what it takes to be successful in a team environment and to win, the ultimate goal. And then just off the court, the family speaks for itself. And just me as a man, I've grown a lot. I mean, there have been good times and bad times. You know, the bad times more so define us than anything else. But I'm thankful for all of them. You know, 24-year-old Chris is amazed at 29-year-old Chris, so it's awesome.
You have been consistent in your time here with your work and appreciation with the military, through Miami Heat Home Strong, through Team Tomorrow. Once again, tell us why.
Both me and my wife, we're very close. I have a cousin, and she has a cousin as well that serve, that are active. Her cousin just came back home from Afghanistan last year. There's still so many guys that have done all these things, you know, to protect freedom. And they don't have the opportunity that other people have.
What can we expect coming from the foundation down the road?
Just continuing to get better at what we're doing. We're trying to stay right here in the community, and we just try to make sure that we bring a positive message and help those that are less fortunate and try to be a difference maker in what we do.
Welcome back to Inside the Heat. In our years with Chris Bosh, we've learned that his interests away from basketball have a wide range, from going on the talk shows to acting in sitcoms and dramas. But now he's taken us to a whole nother level. We know he has a passion for education, but how about educating people in binary code?
Permiso.
Dessert.
This is flan con coco.
Finish with some flan.
Yeah.
Cuban plain.
Thank you very much. Chris, I had the pleasure of telling what I thought was a quintessential Chris Bosh story during a game recently about your passion for coding. You wrote an editorial for Wired magazine. Why do you feel learning about computer language is important for computer users, specifically young people?
I wanted to go to college as a CS major. I wanted to be a graphic designer. So I started to learn HTML. Once you kind of get it down, it's like you start seeing the same commands and the same things, and so you start to get it, and we're in a different generation and a different era now. Right now, the kids in the U.S., there's not enough coders and engineers. A small fraction of those kids are actually learning to use the jobs of the future. It's being aware of what you're using, too, because you think you're just using Instagram on a phone and it's cool, but you can make that. It's complex, but you can all start from somewhere, and this is where the future's going. And I don't want to be on the outside looking in. I want to be with what's going on and making sure I have my hands in it.
Chris Bosh.
The Miami Heat's Chris Bosh.
Chris Bosh hit the TV talk shows last night.
He was interviewed on CNN by Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan was kind of groundbreaking for me personally. That was a space that I don't know how many athletes have been in. We talked a little about basketball, but as the interview came on, you could tell he kind of just put his questions to the side.
He wanted to know you.
Yeah, okay, so, and it just turned into something really cool. And I always wish they were longer, but I know nobody wants to watch me for that long, so even this has to come to an end.
Parks and Recreation. You were playing a high school basketball player. You are grown.
It was fun. We just were fake playing, running up and down, and then the part where I dunk on the guy, and you can hear the two actors doing their dialogue, and I could hear, like, that kid does not look like he's in high school, you know?
Tell us why you enjoy acting so much. You've been able to get it in pretty much every offseason now.
I watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. I remember Johnny Carson, you know, on Saturday Night Live, and those are the things that I watched. Those were some of my first memories of television. One of the things that keeps it fresh for me is that I never take it too serious. You know, I don't consider myself an actor because people work their whole lives to be an actor. I just like to come out there and have some fun and have a watching party a couple months later when it's done.
Chris Bosh está aprendiendo español con Despierta América.
You just did an entire interview in Spanish on Univision.
It was exciting after the fact.
There's some trepidation going on.
Yeah, it was like, you know, and it was just a super cool moment.
¿Por qué aprender español, Chris? ¿Por qué no aprender chino?
Cuando era un niño, siempre quería aprender un otro idioma.
Everybody was so nice, and I was reading something somewhere, and one of the keys was like, put pressure on yourself. Do something big. But I didn't think they were going to talk to me that long.
Es muy importante para mí porque gente que habla más que solo un idioma es muy inteligente.
Claro.
Y quiero estar inteligente.
I was very proud of myself for just even challenging my mind to go there. And now everybody wants me to speak Spanish, so I've created a monster.
I need one more moment. Order a little cafecito with me.
Yeah,
Out the window.
Yeah. Come on, let's go.
Hola.
Hola. Queremos dos cafecitos, por favor.
¿Dos cafecitos?
Sí.
Gracias.
Right.
There it is.
We're going first.
You're on it, please. Right
Okay.
there. He's number one.
This is number one.
Yeah, that's what his
You're
jersey
number two.
says. All right, cool. Here we go. All right, I think it's time for us to wrap it up.
La próxima vez que me vea, háblame en español. Gracias por todo.
Gracias for watching Inside the Heat with Chris Bosh. See, I went Spanglish on you. You thought I was just...
It's the same thing.
I'm gone. Thanks, Chris. It is always a pleasure to visit with Chris Bosh. You always learn something. His passion of coding. Who saw that coming? but that great mind is always churning, always pushing himself in basketball and in life. So as he becomes a greater student of the Spanish culture, he will continue to push himself to the highest levels on the basketball court. Thank you so very much for joining us for this special edition of Inside the Heat. I am Jason Jackson.
Are you like this every day?
Wow. I need a bib. You're good. You're all right.
You know, we did that twice.
I'm going pinky up on this one.
Namaste.
Versailles. Versailles. Versailles.
Hey!
This is good TV.
Hold up, we gotta do that over.
Apologize.
This is Jason Jackson.
This has got to stop.